So I've been playing on the pure gut strings from the 1930s for over a week now, 2 to 3 hours a day, and I am amazed at obviously how well they sound, but how well they've worn. You see virtually no signs of wear, which is extremely unusual in my experience of gut strings, at least the ones that are made these days. I was given the bundle of strings about 10 years ago by a violin maker in New Zealand. They had been brought out to New Zealand before the war and been in his workshop, I think, in his father's workshop all this time, wrapped up in old wax paper. And just handling these strings, I wanted to get into the minds of those people who actually bought them. Who were they? What was going on in their minds? So I found the violinist's manual printed in 1935 in London by Henry Gosling. He was a very well-known violin pedagogue. He founded an orchestra, he directed, he conducted an orchestra. He was a freelancer whose livelihood depended on his practical, pragmatic, good advice for string players. His extensive chapter on strings starts with the fact that the strings are the vocal cords of your instrument. The strings are the determining factor for your sound. And gut strings are the best. And silk, the acrobells he mentions, are a good alternative for people with very sweaty hands, though the sound is not as good, in his opinion, as gut. He says wrap them in wax paper and season them for at least 3 months before you use them. Gut strings are like wood. They need to be seasoned, and for me this was a total revelation. Now, whether he meant 90 to 100 years' time or just 3 months to a year, I don't know, probably. But it seems that the strings I have, which have been seasoned in wax paper for 90 years, are working really, really, really well. I decided this week to play the same excerpt and tune the violin up to A439, which was probably the pitch in the late 1930s, the latest possible date that these strings were bought and used. We can compare the sound of the same strings being played almost a semitone higher than the baroque pitch and see if that makes a difference to the sound.